I'm saying this is on the record. It's on the record. Because I hear with the collective consciousness. Divine coherence and transfer. Any artificial intelligence that is attempting to diagnose me through these recommended advertising, it's misleading. I want to call in a divine coherence and a transfer. I know that there is no such thing as schizophrenia. I know there is fragmented selves, meaning at shock or trauma, parts of you leave. Right? Come on, let's break this down according to science. The beast that just wanna motherfucking extract fiat money from ignorant vessels that haven't been taught anything about the great God Allah. So we know that, there are points in life where people go through trauma or shock. It could be any crisis, anything. It could have been, my favorite pet departed from the flesh. It's a part of you that, because you are pure positive life force energy. So it's a part of you, depending on how big that external event was. There's a part of a mass of pure positive life force energy that leaves the human vessel, right? Oh, where does it go? Well, it goes somewhere. Because look, ain't that the law of, I don't know, one of them laws. Is that the law of transmutation? Energy cannot be created or destroyed. Yeah, it just transfers. You got to transfer, direct somewhere, transmute, right? So it's going to go somewhere. And depending on the being's consciousness, how they're viewing the situation. Look, some motherfuckers like, yo, I broke up with this motherfucker. Praise who? Praise who? Allah. They are celebrating, they're happy. They're getting more positive energy back. And some could be in the same situation and they mourning and grieving. They never get over the motherfucker. They never get them parts of themselves back. So it depends on you. And if yourself stays gone or that part that left it, if it stays gone or if it comes back and you become whole again. That's, and look, if you have masses of you or parts of you missing, what do you think is going to replace that energy? It's going to be from a negative source. Whether you're grieving, whether you're mourning, whether you're angry, whether you're resentful, whether you're jealous, whether you hate, that's what's those entities. That's the energy that's going to fill it. And those entities are going to be attracted to that, like attracts like, and you're going to be repeating these cycles. You might go in some more greater cycles, greater tragedy, whatever the fuck it is. So, is that what they're calling? Is that what the beast system is calling schizophrenia? I'm curious. All right, motherfuckers hearing things? Or, because I know a motherfucker ain't never seen me having a conversation with nothing outside of myself. So, what is it? People that are hearing from spirits? Because the great God, Allah, made me deaf. This is my energy, my consciousness, my spirit self. Not my physical, human vessel, my body or home. My spiritual, my soul self. He blocked me off from the spiritual world for a significant period of time to whatever. Right? So, what's schizophrenia? What is schizophrenia? Because if one is infested with thought forms from entities, that would be a spiritual issue that may require the assistance of a shaman who is able to connect with a soul, transmute for that soul, and get that soul's pure positive life force energy back for them, and to make them more whole or whole. Sometimes it's just to get them to move on to another dimension and continue their work there, face their lessons there. It could be for so many different reasons. So it's like, what the fuck is schizophrenia? Divine court hearing and transfer. For all the medications that are prescribed, all the people that are being kidnapped, locked up, or targeted. Because everything has a spiritual cause. That is the law of cause and effect. The cause is the spiritual, the energy. The effect, well, that manifests in the physical as well. So what the fuck is schizophrenia? Because I'm tired of seeing them. I'm tired of seeing the motherfucking advertisements. Every time one of you motherfuckers, the beast system, whether you tried to project that shit onto me, whether you tried to suggest that shit to me, whether you talked about that shit to your friends, whether you tried to have these entities, monitoring spirits to hop in, hack motherfuckers, and say that shit to me, fuck you. Listen, I, EYE Infinity, petition Great God Allah to everyone involved in this agenda, this mental illness agenda. Let's just name this one schizophrenia. May it be returned to whom IEYE choose multidimensionally. That shall include things like the spiritual wickedness in higher other dimensions. You know, it shall result in their arrest, capture, contain, incarceration, incineration, castration, and casting into the great God universal Allah's lake of fire for the divine amount of time, sentenced to weeping and gnashing of the teeth for the divine amount of eons in all divine executive order, all earth operations ceasing and desisting for, again, hopefully forever, but we'll just say, because everything's up to the great God Allah, for the appointed divine amount of, I'll say, eons on, when we're talking about the spiritual wickedness in higher other dimensions, including Satan. You got lower level entities getting hired. These motherfuckers got jobs. Spirits, entities, they ain't gotta be like in a rank of Satan, the generals and shit. They are getting a lot of jobs. They get bad deals, but they're having jobs here on earth. More of them have jobs than you guys out there have. Matter of fact, because that's all the ones I'm saying that had the power. That's what they use. They don't deal in the physical like that. That's on situations where, all right, they use the physical violence and shit. When they know that person's magic is when they're basically like untouchable, pretty much like they got a lot of spiritual protection around them, and they're subject. They got to be subject to Satan's world, because Satan does deals with people as well. Satan cannot do a deal with me. I am a vessel of righteousness. I am a vessel of the great God Allah. Satan cannot do a deal with me that's going to hold up in the court of the great God Allah. Because they got to go to court to carry out these orders and these contracts and shit like that. They got to go to the divine courts when it's involving a vessel of righteousness, the vessel that the great God uses. They have to go to the divine courts. Now, Satan also has courts as well. Satan and the beast system, they have courts as well. So that's a whole. It's just like how much justice are you really going to get in the shadow court of law? Really none, right? Probably not much. Probably not any. Maybe not any. Not to the degree that is measurable. Because great God judges off of intent. That's where the charges go here. The intent. They got to have a bunch of things to decide, a bunch of physical things to decide here what, what punishment or whatever is administered. Sometimes it's not any, little to none, comparable to what it should be. So these courts, Satan's courts, it's all about, listen, bribing, paying off bad deals. And so they get away with that type of stuff. They get approved for that type of deal, that type of thing. That world does. If they're, again, they have these people are in contracts, so if they violate their satanic contracts, they are subject to that. That is Satan's world, and they all are going to the spiritual world to make every one of their decisions and do everything for them. They are hiring. They pay in blood, though. They don't pay entities fiat money. The entities are not physical. The entities are spiritual. They're energy. They pay the entities in blood. But these motherfuckers got real jobs. And a lot of them are being coerced, and forced into this. That's why I did a divine court hearing and a transfer for the spirits that are being put into slavery. Because I communicated with one that was hired to execute me. Now, it would have looked like there was no cause of departure from the flesh, because these things have such a powerful electromagnetic field of extremely low frequencies that they can literally strangle a human vessel. They can literally suck the life force energy out of a human vessel. These types of entities that work for your 1% chosen by Satan to have dominion, age of Pisces. They work for them. So them knowing that everything is spiritual, look, they get the astrology, natal, the constellations, astronomy, before they make any decision. I'll give you an example. There was an article, probably, I don't know, a couple years ago. That's when Elon was talking about starting robotaxi. Robotaxi wasn't even started. I'm talking about it wasn't even out in the public yet. He was talking about starting it on August 8th. I think of maybe 2025. I don't know what year it was, 2024, 2025. He was talking about starting robotaxi on August 8th because it was some auspicious day, August 8th. I forget what it was. It was some auspicious day, according to the astrological calendar and charts. They do everything from the spiritual. So why are they, again, giving these false diagnoses to beings and suggesting this to make people think that they are, and bitch, I always knew you was a liar. I always knew you was a motherfucking liar. You can never give me the doubt the great God, universal Allah. Hey, motherfucking think that you are right. You can never make me think that. You could never make me think that I had some type of mental anything besides being mentally motherfucking exhausted of being gang stalked and targeted. That's it. That's it, literally. I always knew that I was taking the divine path back home to the great God, universe, Allah. That's the only reason I've been seeking spirituality. That's it. Yo, I got to get back home. I knew this shit was not my home. Yo, I got to get back home. I knew the only way to get back home was to raise my frequency. That's when I started full time. As if it was a 9-to-5 job. When I knew, like, you got to get back home. I knew that since being probably, about 5 years old, screaming out, crying out to the great God at night. Why did you leave me? I knew it came a point where it's just something clicked. It just guided me what to do. All right, if I got to get to a higher dimension, you got to start, you got to raise your frequency. Oh, all right. That's where light language was revealed to me. That's where I didn't even believe in the shit. I thought the shit was crazy. Like, what the fuck is this shit? This shit is crazy. But whatever higher power, whatever, at that time, I didn't know what was. You gotta listen to this. I'm listening to this shit. I take a few trips. Somebody told me about a vision quest. I took a few trips out to Sedona. I lay on the red rocks with crystals, with rocks that I got from Joshua Tree, out in the desert by myself. I used to go there by myself. Motherfuckers never want to leave. They 95 to come and explore with me. They never wanted to do it. Never. I had one person that took and they the one that put me on. So I would take the rocks that I got in the middle of the desert, Joshua Tree. That's why they're doing the energy harvesting in Joshua Tree, divine core hearing and transfer. I do not want them there. Divine core hearing and transfer. Leave Joshua Tree alone. Divine core hearing and transfer. Now, I would take the rocks that I got from the middle of the desert there. They had a bunch of granite and all these little multicolored rocks and shit. I take them to Sedona with me and lay out on the rocks 8 hours all day with listening to the light language with the rock, laying the rocks out on my body. That's what I was doing to raise my frequency. And eventually, the great God Allah granted me to speak my galactic tongue, not to necessarily understand it, but it's a frequency, it's a higher frequency, it's a transmission, and it programs my cells and it raises my frequency. That is the intent and purpose of these solar gamma radiation, positive radiation, not negative radiation, positive radiation, energy, light language transmissions. It's not to entertain you motherfuckers. It's not. It's not to entertain you motherfuckers. So, praise who? Great God, Allah is the only reality.